going down. The time, yeah,
Came to find out that Wendy Williams is the first female talk show host to average 1,500 yards receiving in high school.
Witness AP, don't worry, it's all timing. I slid in like a nigga that didn't pay. Backdoor style, shut the club down with a K. You know NC at it again, aiming at your cabbage again. I flow with a magical blend. Step up, get dropped to a tragical end. You know the push got my lungs about as black as my skin. From Raleigh NC down to Duluth, Georgia.
I did save a lot of money on my car insurance. Some of you think I switched to Geico. I just stopped paying the insurance.
For dollars, and the cats that been thinking peanuts like Jimmy Carter. Got that lava, game time not a problem. Milk the clutch and watch me go up when I'm popping.
Lights, action, cameras flashing, girl, you know this song. Maybach's cutting, trying to take you home. It was all a dream. I like the way it's going down. I like the way it's going down.
Yo, what up? Welcome to another episode of The Slice. I'm one of your hosts, Teron Rogers.
Yo, it's your boy E10, and with us today we have the extraordinary actress supreme, Miss Brandy Brown. Say hey to the peoples, Miss Brandy.
What up, people?
So for y'all who've been living under a rock, Brandy was the OG original manager at Good Nights Comedy Club, and she was actually the person who gave me my first shot to perform in a comedy club. So I always have a special place in my heart for Miss Brandy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say, yeah. So tell us what has, because also people don't know that you're also a very accomplished comedian.
Sure, I'll take it.
So what has your road in comedy and acting been like since you started? What made you get the bug to even start acting and doing this?
Honestly, my family's really funny. I grew up with there are people in my family who are funnier than people that I've seen on stage, and I worked in the comedy club for like over 12 years, something crazy. But they're always busting on each other and just crack. My family, they're some of my favorite people, not just because they're my family, because they're some of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. And they always encouraged me to be creative. I've always been a little bit of a weird kid. And so I got started acting at a really young age. I think I was like 6. I remember doing like the Nutcracker, and I remember wanting to be like the lead character, but they made a Sugar Plum Fairy, and I was pissed about it. For like years, I still think about it, where it's like I should have been the lead, and like no, you know. But from then, I just I kept doing it. I did like Odyssey of the Mind, where we would do productions from and we had an adult who was there, but it was like child led, which there was an adult there, but and I just kept doing it, and it's just the only thing that I ever kept coming back to, and keep coming back to, and that's usually a pretty good sign that you should do it, I guess.
Yeah. So how'd you get into comedy?
To be completely honest, people have always told me I was funny, and I never thought that I should do stand-up or anything like that, but the influence was there in my family. I grew up in Martin, loved Jamie Foxx, my granddad loved Bill Cosby, but who didn't, until recent times. Absolutely. And so when I was in high school, I worked at this restaurant called Red Hot and Blue, and there were a few of the servers who, for fun, they would do improv, and it's when, before it became Comedy Works and DSI, it was Comedy Sports, and it was in City Market. Okay. And so I would tag along because I was a hostess, and she would buy me beer, but she had to do her improv class. And so I would come every Sunday, and finally it was Ross White. He's fucking hilarious. He was like, "Do you want to be part of it? You don't have to be a weird kid sitting in the corner or whatever." And then he told me I was good at it, so I kept coming back. And at the time, Big A was there. I think Jenny and Steve. They were part of Comedy Sports, and a bunch of other people who end up doing stand-up, but they did improv. But I was 14, and they were actually adults, so no one was fucking hanging out with me. But it kind of kept with that. And then one day when I was still not old enough to drink, I was playing asshole partying with some friends, and my best friend at the time, her brother worked at the restaurant above the comedy club, and he was like, "You should just go there. Like, I guess they had just shortly come after, like, new owners, and then I was a fucking cocktail waitress. I was, like, the new girl for, like, 3.5 years, and so I had to work open mic night. And the dude who was teaching at the time, Lumpy, was like, you're funny, like, you're here setting up and stuff, like, just do it. And I just kind of always was around it. So, like, for fun, I would go to open mics and fucking tell jokes, but I also like to drink and party, and it was a good time. And it was that for a really long time. And then I think it was like Rory Scovel and fucking Mello one day where, like, Roy was like, you should get like 12 minutes, you know, and get up in front of producers. That's, if you want to be an actor and you want to be discovered, that's a good way of doing it. And so then I started taking it more seriously. It wasn't just for like going to open mics. And then I honestly would just say yes, you know, when people, and I'm like, oh, that seems like fun. And then it kind of went from there, where I think I did a comedy competition and I won. I beat the guy I was dating at the time, and he wouldn't fucking talk to me for like, yeah, it was insane, but like I still was like, yeah, and I just kind of kept with it. I love to write. I always wrote. I actually just found a bunch of memo pads from being in the comedy club as a cocktail waitress, where I'm like writing my own jokes and trying to, like, yeah, and it just kind of, that's, I guess, really organically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, I remember being in Good Nights and counting you. I was like, she's so mean. She does not like me. She just, I don't know what. But yeah. But you have this real, like, stern demeanor, like no nonsense. Yeah. Not even, I wouldn't say mean, but just a no nonsense type person.
Yeah.
So I remember going to, I think I was performing at Matthew Hans. He had a show, and I was like, Brandy Brown? She tells jokes?
Oh, yes.
Like I was like, she tells. Like, I didn't think he was like, you know, because you had that real stoic demeanor. I was like, she said, and then I go to the show and she's hilarious. And I'm like, Brandy, I saw you in a whole different light. Yeah. But the thing was, and it was funny because, like, and this is just something that I realized, you know, like, just by growing pains and things along those lines. Like, when Brandy was managing Good Nights, right? Like, I can never get a weekend. But I wasn't good enough. And I didn't realize that at the time that I wasn't good enough. I had to realize that when I got older.
I like to say you weren't ready, because there is a difference. Because I remember seeing you, I don't know if it was the first, I don't think it was the very first time. I remember you did a competition. Yeah. And I'd never really heard of you. I think I'd seen your name pop up on a list when you would sign up, and everyone's names would have to populate it, and it was a nightmare, but it was worth it. But HL goes up this competition, and he's fucking hilarious. Like, I remember you brought some people too, but it didn't even matter, because I remember there were people on the show who were like, who the fuck is this? And so confident. It's like, it was like, I was like, there's no way that this guy hasn't done this more than how many times he's saying it. With that being said, I don't think that you won. And I remember being like, you're good, but you upset some people. And I was like, oh, this guy's got it. You're not ready. It doesn't mean that you're not good. Right. It just, and sometimes people think that they're ready, especially when they get laughs, and I'm like, there's so much that you have to do. Like, I'm like, you have to deal with bombing, even after you've gotten like a set. It doesn't matter, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You could have an hour set that fucking works every single time. You're going to bomb.
Tell that to the people,
You're going to bomb at some point. I have a story. I'm not going to say her name. One of my favorites, okay? She's from here. She probably would let me say her name if I like text her or something, but can do no wrong. Fucking hilarious. Started really young. Is at the top of the game, like, doesn't bomb ever. We go to a competition. We're at a festival. We'll have to figure Asheville off. I don't know if this is too many details. Text me if you figure out that this is you. And there's no way that, like, this is your fucking crowd. There's no way that this doesn't work for you. Like, we're in a theater. I'm sitting by Jeremy Alder. Like, we have friends there. And we're like, oh, she got to fucking lay this place out. Mm-hmm. You guys. I don't know if sometimes people hype people up too much, but the host is like, everyone else is like, give it up for blah, blah, blah from random fucking town in USA. And then she knows her, so she's like giving her, like, she's hoping for this person, this person, this person. Crickets. For like the most excruciating, like, 10 minutes. And I was just like, just throw yourself into the kegs.
Oh,
like,
wow.
just like, I'm like trying to, like, and like we talked about it later where she's like, that was rough. And it's like, there's at some point, it doesn't matter, you're going to bomb. Those are my favorite stories. Like, but yeah, no, but you always, so funny. Like you, and it was just like you're gonna figure it out. Like, and so it's nice that you fucking did like your special and everything, and like hopefully hindsight's 2020. Don't fucking hate me, but like that's always what it was. Is this you're not ready yet?
I'll tell you like this. In my honest opinion was like, even then I was like, well, she sees you know your shit.
Yeah.
So I took it as like, well, you gotta believe in something. Like,
Yeah.
so I just trusted in you. Like, all right, I'm gonna keep getting better.
Yeah.
And then you weren't there anymore. And then I realized what real, like, they don't like me is, because that's when I didn't get on shit. Like, I was getting on weekend, I was getting on Wednesdays at least, and Thursdays. When you were gone, it was just like, nigga, fuck you. So like, that's when I really realized, like, oh, Brandy loved the fuck out of me.
Yeah, and
So,
like, I just like work, like it was like, people didn't realize, like when people saw me like moving around, you get to see like maybe an hour and a half to 3 to 4 hours of my workday. Like I was getting there sometimes at 11 and like staying until everything shut down, and like sometimes I wasn't eating, so I'm just like hanging. I'm like, and I've already talked to so many people where I'm like, please don't come talk to me unless
I tried to stay away. I was like, hey, Brandy.
Yeah.
And,
I will catch you downstairs after everything's done. That's when I can really let my hair down or whatever. But then I got other shit I'm dealing with, like paranormal activity and fucking.
you had the shit popping. I mean, you had the upstairs popping, the downstairs popping, the main room popping. I mean, you turned Good Nights Comedy Club into like a club. It felt like a hangout spot for comics. And then on top of that, I saw in myself and a lot of people that I dealt with growth.
Yeah.
Just from being in all the activities that you had, the writer's block, you had the comedy roulette, all of those things that may seem so insignificant to other people, it just seemed like a show to other people. They're really great workouts for comics.
Yeah.
How did you come up with those ideas?
A lot of those ideas were just like, you know, we would have meetings. A lot of the managers, and like some of them are still like my really good friends. When you're just like kind of a comedy nerd, and especially because I was doing it, for me it was like, you know, what would I want happening right now that would help me be able to riff, you know? And so we always had like a fun fucking show built around something like that, or like, there's a story, like, oh, you know, it'd be great. I always love storytellers. Like, I think that's one of the hardest things to do is to be comfortable in telling a story and waiting for this build up. And not everyone's good at it. But when it happens, it is so good. And so I'm going to be in this building for 12 hours a day. I wanted there to be things that would be entertaining to me also, but would also help people's skill set. Like, if you could get like a 7-minute story and you could fucking trim the fat off of that, like you might be able to get a 3 to 4 minute solid bit, and that's helping someone. It's also like we're farming people, because those are the people who are going to help me. Unfortunately, in like North Carolina, when people get really good, you leave. Like, and that happened. You know, I like switched agents back in like 2019, something like that. It was bad timing. I finished like a Meisner program. I'd been studying with the same teacher for like 7 years. And I got to a point where I was having a hard time, and like I have readers like Jordan Fisher, I love him to death. Me and him read for each other for our auditions all the time, and have for like years. And I was having trouble with traveling to all of the clubs, the like time difference, and trying to put up my auditions and also work 45 hours a week. And then sometimes I was traveling, so like I wasn't even home. It just became a lot, and I had to make kind of a decision. And you know, I was lucky enough to have bosses at the time who knew. It was never a secret that I was an actor. It was just always this like secondary thing where like my friends, they know that I'm an actor, and like so it doesn't like really faze them. But it became one of those things that like it was like if I kind of felt like really deeply if I didn't strike at the time that it would die, or like nothing would come of it. And I kind of got to a point in my career where I've been doing better than I ever have, and I've been doing this for so many fucking years. And so Mark kind of was just like, you know, do your acting thing. If you ever want to come back, like, you can do that. But like, so I was lucky enough to have people who understood.
And supported you.
Yes, 100%. And like still checks in, like when they came down, when the club opened, I went and saw everyone, and they asked about that. Like they were super excited. when I had finished shooting this little show of mine, which is on Amazon Prime and Apple TV.
Wait, go ahead to for real.
Yeah, no, it is on Amazon Prime and Apple TV.
What's it called again?
This little show of mine.
Oh, that's the actual name.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it's if you have Amazon Prime, it's free for you to watch. I think you have to rent it on Apple TV. But like I'm in it. Aaron Ransom is in it. And it's so funny. Ellen Daniels, who is in England now, but spent a lot of time in the area. And she wrote and directed it. We shot it in Raleigh. Real dope, but like, yeah, they were like, go do your thing. And it was really scary at the time because I got used to, having like salary and shit like that. But part of the reason why I ever ended up serving and waiting tables at the club is because it worked with my acting career. Like, because we work during the day, like Monday through Friday, unless you're doing like independent shit. And so it worked out, and so it's one of those things where like I miss it. Like I spent a majority of my life in a club, but I just couldn't burn at both of those ends. Like I'm getting older, I can't do that. I know that I would throw myself in it because I like for shit to work. I like for shit to be great. I didn't get more than 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night for years, and now your girl's catching up, and I love it. I love it so much.
Hey, so Brandy, one of the things that I've always admired about you was your eye for talent. Mm-hmm. Like you always knew what people to put on stage. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, can you explain Sam Mazzani?
I can explain
like, that was
Sam.
The one I was like,
I can explain Sam.
Why?
You guys, I can explain Sam. Sam is a talented writer, and I still, even now, like he's doing a lot less comedy now. He's in New York, and he is churning out fucking scripts that are like incredible. Part of that was what I always liked about Sam is that Sam is going to go on stage. Like if I don't have it, like if someone fell out, whatever, I can put Sam on stage. This is the thing. Everyone's going to hit and they're going to be funny. Sam is one of my good friends. I liked seeing Sam have meltdowns because they were fucking hilarious. Like, and sometimes like his like material was funny, it's dirty, whatever. But it's when when something didn't work. It's the shit that like when it doesn't work and how he got out of his head and it didn't have to be like contrived and it didn't have to be perfect. His fucking knee-jerk reaction would be killer.
Right.
Like it really would be. And then other than that, like other comics, like headliners and stuff, if I had Sam, they like talking to Sam because he did have good jokes. I think people maybe took their personal, how they felt about Sam.
Well, see, I like Sam as a person.
Yeah.
He was real supportive.
Yeah.
It was just that when he would perform, I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And like he was the only one, like everybody else, I'm like, oh, okay, I see Mark Brady, I see Aaron. But
I'm telling y'all,
Caroline Smith was my favorite.
Caroline Smith is one of the ones, it upsets me that she does not do comedy anymore.
That breaks me too, because like Caroline, like when I think about it, when I was in comedy, my favorites to see was Aaron Ransom, Caroline Smith, and Mello.
Yes.
Like if I was in the room and they were going to get on stage, I had to see what they were going to do. Yeah. And when I found out Caroline wasn't doing comedy no more, I was like, why? Because she should have a Netflix special.
Caroline is like, I don't even know. Sometimes it's like, you ever have those people where you're like, how are you writing like just jokes, and they work
the
and it's
greatest jokes.
Alex Garrettson,
He's
also one of those,
one.
and he's not. That's what I'm saying. It's like sometimes people who are like really fucking gifted in something, they don't choose to do that, and sometimes they come back to it, or at least like I'm still hoping that they decide to find their way back to a stage. But yeah, I don't think you're gonna get everyone every time. Like not everyone's gonna be for you. Like there are comics that like I have to draw a line with myself, like, because sometimes there's people where it's like, I don't like this person, but they're fucking hilarious. You know what I'm saying? And that's like one of those things where it's like, if you're trying to sell the funny, you're trying to make the best show, where do we find that happy medium of like, I can have you around enough where it's not infringing. I have to be here every day, you know? You don't have to be here every day, but I would be not doing my job if I didn't put you on stage. Like, you're fucking funny. You know, now as long as you're not making the employees feel uncomfortable, because that's a whole nother issue, like, we're good. Like, I don't have to like you to recognize, like, yeah. And I think that that's what some people, I think that sometimes gets people in trouble, like when we're talking like getting at their levels, because just because you're talented doesn't make you a good person.
Well, I just know one thing, is that was that when you were booking the talent at Good Nights, it was, with the exception of that one, I'm talking like those lineups.
I love it.
I remember just coming to some of the shows just to come to the shows because they were that strong.
I used to love the open mic.
Yeah,
like,
the open mic used to be great. Now it's a bucket style, so now it's like you get nothing but first timers and stuff. And I understand the logic to it. But one thing that I wanted to ask you, being that you've been in the game so long, and you've seen so many comics, start off, did you have any that like make you feel like a proud mama now that you're seeing?
Yeah, I have a lot of them. I'm really happy about Maddie Weiner. I have memories of like, I remember me and Blair and Lauren Faber, Blair Postman. Please check them all out. But just
Lauren Faber was on Last Comic Center, wasn't she?
Was she?
I think Lauren Faber was.
Recently?
No, this was years ago.
That I don't doubt. I don't know for sure, but that I don't doubt. Lauren fucking pops up on like the randomest shit. Like she was on one of the home network shows, like Love It or List It or some like, and she's great. Lauren is great, like great personality, great for television. So it doesn't surprise me ever. But we brought Maddie with us, and she was a killer even then, and she got it. Maddie fucking got it. My favorite thing that she would always say, even when she's like not having a bad set 6 months, and she's like, I just want to get better. I want to be good. And it's like, bitch, you're better than like most of the people. But like, she's like, I just want to get better. And I can work with that, where it's like, damn, like you already like.
Especially when they already have a talent.
Yeah.
I think what it is that, like what I've seen is that number one, people come in on the same material every week. And I'm like, dude, it didn't work last week. It didn't work the week before.
Oh, or the year before. That's what I'm telling. No,
before.
You guys, like there are people. I'm not kidding. Like, I went from day one. There are people that I saw my first shift when I was like 22, 21, 22 years old. I'm a lot older than that now.
She's like 25 now.
Yeah, something like that. And they would still be coming back.
Same material.
Yeah, and like no laughs, and I'm like, I mean, at least at this point, like they're so comfortable bombing. Like it was fun to watch at that point, and like and at the, I'm with you. It's like you don't fucking care, I don't fucking care. And it's like sometimes I would put someone on because I'm like, let's see if he did, and then like, no, like 10 plus years, and it's like, damn, nothing.
And
some people would come back, they quit and come back, and I'm like, okay, let's see what you worked with. It's like, so you weren't doing nothing when you quit.
You just gave up. You just quit. You quit. You really quit. Like,
damn, it's like, did you ever start? Like, what is happening?
So, do you remember your first joke you ever wrote?
Ooh, this is good. I think so. Oh my God, I think so. So I remember the first time I ever went on stage, I got tricked by Brad Reeder, owned the club at the time, Brad and Shannon Reeder, and Mello was there, and I was like hosting, because they used to do this like, was it fajita margarita night or something on Wednesdays, and I'm upstairs like, you know, finishing up, and I would come downstairs and watch the show. Well, they send someone up and be like, Brandy, they need you downstairs, So I'm like running down the fire escape, and I'm like, what? I remember I was wearing this brown dress, and it didn't have, like, my titties were kind of like, you know, and I get down there and I hit where you walk out, and they're like calling my name to go on stage. And I'm like, oh my God, like what is happening? And I remember I had a paper because I was like writing stuff upstairs. Like if I was to go on stage, I would do it all the time. If I was going on stage, and this is what I would do. And I had the paper, and I remember pulling it out to try to like read it, and I was like, I didn't drink last night. I am so sorry. And everyone lost it. And then I think I said something because I'd been trying to write with Mello and Mike Spurlock at the time, also very funny comic. And there was a stripper club called The Dollhouse. And it was a joke about the dollhouse, but it was like the way I said I don't remember what the punchline was, but like I got rid of the joke because it was not that good. People laughed, but it was also one of those things where I'm like, oh, well, this is like a kind of a hack bit. I remember I used to do the one where it's like, I'm whatever ethnicity the guy was by injection, and it's like that's been done 1,000 times, but you learn that by like watching a lot of, but yeah, I remember I couldn't get my jokes together, and I remember just saying stuff, and I've come to that where it's like some of the most fun I have on stage is the things I say in between where you're really present and you're like, what the fuck are you looking at? Or you're not having a good time? Like, what is this?
I just said, what's up, bro? And
Yes.
he just died. I'm
Yes.
like, this is it? Like I would say the funny thing about comedy is when you don't know, like you know, like when you have your set built, you know what's gonna hit. But it's that time when you're writing on stage or you just performing. Aaron is the king of living in the moment.
Yeah.
Like nobody living that damn. Like he get on stage, like I love how he says he likes to fill the room. When he gets on that stage, he grabs that mic and he fills that room. There is nobody touching Aaron.
Right. Aaron.
On a good day, chalk it up. You took that L.
He's a wild boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember seeing Aaron. Aaron's one of those where you're like, I'm glad you stuck with it. I remember seeing Aaron on stage, and Aaron liked the drink. You know, he a boozy boy, and he didn't have the hair. He had like a short cut. He had just come from, I forget what he was doing for a living at the time, but he had a clean cut. He had a pink fucking polo shirt on, some boat shoes, I swear to God on my life. And
Aaron
Ransom. And Greg Lawson, you guys remember bartender Greg?
Yeah.
Greg would be like, Miss Brandy, my friend, Aaron, he's coming up, he says he's signing up, and put him on the stage, Miss Brandy. And I'm like, this guy? Okay. Like, and I'd seen him like showing up, so I'm like, okay, let's put him on the stage. It didn't go well. But he had something where you're like, okay, he keeps showing up here. Obviously, if you keep showing up and like especially if you get on stage and then maybe we don't see you the next week if it doesn't go well, or the week after that, but you're still popping in on the weekends. That's like, I would see people coming in to see shows on the weekends, so you kind of get like, oh, like you're a fan, and then they start showing up for open mics, and he came back. And I don't know when he figured it out, but he did. And where he's just like a beast, where you're like, this motherfucker, yeah.
I remember I went up before Aaron that second round of the first contest. And I was feeling myself kind of, because I was like, I did pretty good. Aaron, I remember I finished, Aaron's like, there's no way this is your second time doing comedy.
Right.
Goes up, grabs the mic, and when I say he shut shit down, like, I got like, you know, ha, chuckle. Man, Aaron,
Yeah,
like they were dying.
He said he David Ruffin.
And I'm just
Yeah.
No, I'm Otis.
Yeah, anybody come see you, Otis?
Ain't nobody coming to see me. Man, when he got, I was like, oh. Like, because, like, the first round, it was Brent. That let me know what real comedians look like. But that second round, Aaron, it was just like, and then it was like every show after that I saw him in, it was the same thing. He created his own energy. And that is something you can't teach to comedy.
There was a comedy. Was it Ryan Higgins?
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever seen Ryan.
Ryan is some of, like, yes, oh my God, when you talk about living in the moment, like, Ryan, did you see the characters? Like, his comedy is fucking hilarious, but like, whoa.
It's funny, like, I saw him the one time when he was opening for Michael Collier.
Oh, yeah.
Who was it?
You just
Kim
worked with him recently,
this
yes.
past weekend. But Kim hosted a show, Ryan featured.
Okay.
And Ryan, it was this thing like, he wasn't even trying to do it, but he had his cup. He kept reaching for it, but he never took a drink.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So he did that like several times. So every time he went for it, after a while, the crowd would start laughing. Because he never took a drink out of it. So he was like, what? But he was able to work the black room, which to me, like,
Oh, man, that's a...
yeah, so he was good.
My stepdad, loved Ryan Higgins.
Yeah.
He's one of the few people, he saw so many comics all the time because my parents would just come down there, but Ryan Higgins was one of the few where he's like, I wish that guy would come out with something. Like,
Yeah. And then you say that a lot. I haven't gotten the pleasure to
Oh my
see it,
God.
but I just want to now.
He
Like,
doesn't do comedy right now. And one of like, I'm telling you, some of the ones who are like, it doesn't always work out just because you're talented as fuck. Sometimes it don't work out that way.
yeah, that is true. Like, with me, man, like, the thing that's been my biggest hindrance is having to keep a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Because you can't just quit your day job. Like, you
No.
think you'll go do it and then some comic is going to take you on the road with them. That's not going to happen. You're going to take your ass to work.
Right.
Y'all, yeah, see?
You gotta
take
go.
your ass to work.
Keep going, get the check, because being broke, you ain't gonna be fucking happy about shit, especially going on stage if you ain't got no money.
And then you think, don't win no $50,000 prize doing something that you can quit your job.
Yeah, you cannot. Especially if you got kids.
I ain't got no kid.
Don't do it.
You got kids, man?
Hell no, I ain't got no kids. I got nieces. I got like 3 nieces, and I babysit them every once in a while. And I'm like, oh my God.
You can have the babysit. I don't do that.
Oh my
I'm
God.
uncle. Uncle ain't got babies. Uncle got remember birthdays, about birthday presents. That's about it.
My heart goes out. I be texting my brother a lot after I baby. I'm like, you good? Are you okay? Like, and my son's like, y'all want to talk about it? Like, I mean, so I do what I can, but like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
The closest I got to babysitting was my baby sister dropped the kids off at 4. I had to watch them till 6,
It's too
and then
much.
take them to my older sister's house.
I know.
I was in her driveway at 4:30. I'm outside. The kids playing on a little swing in the backyard. Like y'all have fun till I'm boogie. I just sat there and watched them. I was like, I hope they can swing for an hour and a half.
They can.
Man, Andrea got there. I didn't even get out of the car. I bounced. Like it was just more or less. She didn't get out of the car. I didn't give her a hug. You know, I love my sister. She pulled in. I backed out. I threw those car seats out on my way out the back.
I'm gonna send those
Well,
to
you
you.
take these kids, man. Let me tell you, girl, little girl.
Yes, they're insane.
At the time, there was 2 twins that were 2 years old and a 3-year-old. Zoe, boy, I took them to Chuck E. Cheese. I got $20 worth of tokens, right? These little girls went around and put tokens in every machine and tried to fight the kids and tried to fuck with the machine after they put money in.
Yes.
They pulled a Donald Trump. They capitalists.
That's just hilarious.
It's capitalist
Who
ass
taught them
swings.
that?
They mama.
They went in and figured this shit
They
out.
went in
I
and
like
started putting
that.
tokens in everywhere, and they're like, no, this is ours. You can't.
See?
And just literally acting like they owned them. Like they bought Chuck E. Cheese that day.
And so this is where I come in. I'm like, okay, this seems a little suspicious, but how can these skills that you have be transferable? And then you figure out what that is, and you put them into that. I got one niece who be getting out of shit because she run fast. I'm like, girl, track. Maybe track. Do that. You know?
Well, I think the twins should be wrestlers so they could jump. I think they would be a great tag team. Like if they really put their phone. Because like, man, the way they do that little boy when he try to get on that train, boy. I'm sitting here like, these ain't my kids. I can't afford no lawsuit. Get your baby. They ain't my babies, but they my babies.
Yeah, you can't let nothing. I can't. They're so strange. I have a hard time knowing like if what I'm saying, even if it seems like innocent, is like fucking them up forever. And so I just would rather not. I took my middle niece. She's like 7. She's 7 or 8. And I took her to the store. This bitch was walking fine, right? I'm like, let's go get some pancake mix, whatever. It's Sunday morning in the grocery store. There's some like suspicious motherfuckers in there at a certain time. She all of a sudden want to have a limp. And I'm like, what happened to you?
Just a limp out of
Yeah,
nowhere?
she's just, I don't know, she's like doing, it's some Kaiser so, like, so what the, yeah, what is this shit?
Oh man, so that's a usual suspects reference.
Yeah.
You don't know.
It was like the most bizarre shit ever. And I'm like, why would you do this? I'm worried about her getting snatched. Are we not allowed to?
We got like 2 minutes.
Okay, but yeah, I was worried about her getting snatched, and I was like, this is what my sister goes through all the time with these fucking kids. Like, she just like, how do you, and like, no one's gonna fuck with her. No one's gonna try to take Alicia's kids. They might try to take Brandy's kids, and they're not even my kids, you know? So I'm worried. And so, yeah, I just would rather not take your asses nowhere. Like, y'all can stay here at the house, and your grandma's here, and your dad's sitting on the porch because he wants to take 5 minutes to himself. That's what I'm talking about. But I don't like being alone. I do it if I have to.
That's what's up. So on the comedy side of stuff, what would you want to leave our people with? Like, what would you,
like for
some
example,
advice or?
Yeah, if young you was showing up, what would you tell young you?
Because you've been on both sides.
Yeah. I said,
From a management standpoint.
You rock both sides.
I said, girl, don't fuck nobody. It don't matter, especially if it's comedian. Don't do it. If you want to do comedy, I have a really hard stance on that. And I also have the research. I'm not talking about me, but like I get, I would say don't do that. It will end up screwing you, I think, in the long run.
Unless it's me.
Unless it's HL. Yeah, do that.
Me.
That might actually make your career better. Please, try it out, keep a notebook. Yeah, I would say, don't get discouraged. And I would say that don't take a no from people who can't give you a yes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's gold right there.
I like that.
I feel like a lot of people will dangle this carrot over you, I'm doing this hot shit, and it's like, if that doesn't even align with your career goals, who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? There's people where I'm like, I don't have to go do that shit, because there's no reason why, on a 5-year plan, where the fuck does this make sense to me? You know what I'm saying? And I wish that more people would take that. They take a lot of things that everyone says, and it's like, a lot of that shit's just noise. If you want to get it, you'll do the work, and I've seen that with a lot of people. Sometimes you just do the fucking work. It's with anything.
Well, I can't lie. My first 4 years in my comedy career felt like college.
Yeah.
And cats don't really see that perspective. But literally, my first year was like being a freshman in college. You don't know shit. You don't even know how to get around. You just asking niggas for directions and shit, all of that. Then your second year, you done feeling yourself a little bit. You done got you a tight 5. You know what I'm saying? You a sophomore. You really feeling that, but you still don't know shit yet. Then you get that junior year. That junior year is the most dangerous year of a comic's career because you think you know something. You think you know it all, and you don't know shit. You got 10 minutes. You killing that 10 minutes, but that's all you got. You can't do 20 if your life depended on it. You couldn't do a 30-minute set right now.
Yeah.
That's that junior year. Now that senior year, you start smelling yourself. You got the information, and now it's time to how do I turn this into a career?
Right, and then you have to level up, and that's what people don't realize. It's when you level up, regardless of what that looks like, you then have a whole set of different fucking issues. Yes,
it's like now my challenge is I gotta come up with a whole nother hour.
Right.
You get to the point where you start all the way over with 0 jokes, and it's time to start all over again with a clean slate, and all you have is the experience.
But you know how to do it now.
Yeah.
And so it's, what was it, has been 5 years? Let's say that, yeah. So the next one shouldn't take you 5 years. Where, you should be able, depending on what that looks like, but even if you cut that shit down by a year, it's, progress. 3 years, 2 years, whatever the fuck that looks like.
Well, my next hour is going to be special. I did my recording this time. Mm-hmm. The next time, that shit's going to be a special.
What are you going to do differently?
For my set?
Yeah, your special. What's going to be different?
The jokes.
Besides the fucking jokes, do you think that you'll be in North Carolina? Do you think that?
I want to film my special in North Carolina.
Okay.
I don't really see where I'm going to go, but I don't see me being in North Carolina as a working comic by the time I do my special.
Okay, so you're not staying. Okay, you're not staying here.
So my plan is to move to LA.
Okay.
Especially now that I've recorded my special, because I said my thing was, as far as I'm not leaving North Carolina until I conquer Raleigh.
Okay.
So that's why I kept entering the contest. That's why I kept doing all because I felt like you can't leave on an L. You can't just keep taking L. But now that I got my special, I'm like, okay, finally, Good Nights is something that I've accomplished.
Okay.
Now I don't have anything holding me back to right here. So, and then my 3 spots was New York, Chicago, LA. Those are the 3 places.
What made you say LA?
LA, well, it's just a calling, and then the comedy store is there.
Okay.
And all the people that I hold in the highest regard work at the comedy store. And I tell you this, the way that you ran Good Nights, it's just like how the comedy store is. So I feel like I'm prepared to deal with the politics of it a little bit better, knowing how the inner mechanics is going to work and things along those lines. And then I have friends and family members in Cali already.
Oh yeah, so you've already been mentally laying the groundwork for it makes sense. And so would you say that you're even doing things working towards that's where my next destination is?
Yeah, with my job and things along those lines, trying to make sure that they're transferred. Because the thing is with Cali is that it's a higher like they have to pay way more just to live in
The
Cali.
cost of living is, yeah.
Right, without you even having to have any higher skill level or moving up in the job role. Like I go from right now where I'm making to like making $30,000 more just because I changed zip code.
Right.
And they have to approve that.
Okay.
So my main thing is building my work and my value up now, so that whenever I'm like, hey, I'm in LA, like, okay, we can approve that.
That's really smart. That's how I wish more people thought about their careers.
I'm older now, so like I started at 35, so I
That's
don't have
fair.
as much time to wait. And I have to, and I have to be smarter. You have to move smarter when you're older.
Yeah.
And then
It's slower sometimes.
Yeah.
Slower sometimes. What about you? What's the next 3 to 5 years look like for you?
I mean, mine is just more or less, one, definitely trying to get on stage as much as possible. Like I said, I was blessed enough to work this weekend at Good Nights, which is outside of just doing the open mics, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I was getting. But then, like I said, HL blessed me to let me feature doing this special, which provided the opportunity for the club to see me, which opened up the weekend. So it's really just becoming like my name just being solid, you know what I mean? And I'm like you, like I'm constantly writing. And so it's really just hitting stages wherever I can hit them. My final location as far as living, haven't really thought about that too much. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm willing to travel wherever I go.
Okay. You want to be a road dog at all? Like, is that?
Yeah, I was good.
Okay.
The weekend, if my weekends could be in a comedy club, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Because I write also. Like I published a children's book. I'm working on scripts and things like that as well.
Nice.
So if I could write during the day and then at night at the club.
That is conducive, yeah.
Absolutely. So that would be a dream for myself.
Okay. I like this.
So that's what we had. And like I said, we pushing this podcast culture, you know what I'm saying? Somebody to the level to where people want to really get behind us. And I just love the creative side of everything. Like I said, I have a pretty good job, but I know like that's me still depending on somebody wanting to keep me there. So at any minute they could be like, yo, who's gonna go a separate way? So I'm definitely in the mind frame now. I'm just kind of creating my own avenue.
Yes.
So
I like this. Acting in the future?
I would love to get into acting. He actually he wrote a movie and he put me in it.
I love it.
And I'm like, it's like my acting thing. I didn't think much of it, but like it gave me a little buzz. I'm not gonna lie to you, because like the reviews that I got from his people and stuff like that, like he actually was engaged. So I'm nowhere near engaged.
Yes.
I'm talking this baby shit.
No, you fucking sold it.
Yeah, but I sold being hard, and I'm like,
love that.
yeah. So it was just like, so I would definitely love it. I would think. Like me personally, if I had to choose any role for me, it'd be a TV daddy sitcom.
Okay, but you don't want to be called Mr. Winslow.
Nah, I don't want to be Mr. Winslow.
You want to do your own thing.
I want to be Mr. Boney.
Okay.
But I mean, like for example, I could see myself playing like something involving like children, but like I would say teenagers.
So you're like an uncle.
Yeah, I'll be an uncle, like Uncle Curtis. So I'll be a TV dad or a teacher.
Okay.
You know, something involving, because like I think the dynamics of like dialogue between adults and children could be utterly hilarious every time, and that's where I would like to play on my strengths of writing the dialogue. So that's what I do.
Okay. You're writing. You're doing comedy, acting.
I've been in front of the camera kind of like forcefully, because I would have somebody for a role, they won't show up, so I would have to step in. I know acting is not my biggest or my strongest point.
Yeah, it's not for everyone.
Watch Hard Time. Oh, he's hilarious in Hard Time. Watch Hard Time.
Okay. Where can I find that?
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
It's Hard Times with a Y.
Hard
T-Y.
Times. Okay.
What's saying that you got a number?
I found the link.
No, I'll
Make sure you put the link on the
Yes,
so they can
please,
see
no.
it.
Everyone watch Hard Times. Let's have a watch party.
Oh man, that would be so dope. That would be so fire,
Please
man.
do it.
It's all comedians, and like everybody that's in it is a comic except maybe a couple of people, and we just had them to kind of fill the spots. And I wrote this script like 16, 17 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I lost it, and I didn't want to rewrite it. So again, like they trusted me because I'm like, I want to do this movie. There's no script. And they were like, you know what I'm saying? But so all I would do is, because I knew the story, I would just block the scenes and be like, yo, in this is what we're trying to get across. And then everybody is a comedian anyway.
Yeah.
So now they're not locked into my words.
Yeah.
So everybody brought themselves to the project. And it came out dope.
I love that.
Especially our scene. Our scene was rocking.
I'm gonna watch this Hard Times on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check it out. If you guys have a watch party, you have to invite me. I'm excited. I'm like, if you ever need acting or like an acting coach, or if you're doing auditions, I 100% offer that up.
Oh,
Like
you offer acting coach?
Oh, I 100% do it. I do it because like a lot of my readers are my friends, but a lot of people sometimes just need someone to read it. It can be it can get expensive if you're paying for coaching and stuff. And I think that if you're comfortable enough with a person, I tend to have that, you know, especially when we're doing some acting stuff and someone you can be honest with, you can be like, hey, I think if that felt good, great, but maybe try it this way. And it helps me with my auditions. So I try to do it as much as possible. It's like being in the gym where I'm like, oh, you got an audition? Like, yeah, I'll read free if I'm free.
Yeah, if you ever need a reader, please call me.
I
definitely need my dramatic acting time. I can be comedic all day.
Yeah.
Because it's just like being on stage, but the dramatic and getting in touch with my emotions and all that other stuff, making myself cry, man.
Yeah.
All that, I want to get good at that because, like, I tell you, another role I would love to do is being somebody's cellmate.
Just a bunch of different characters.
Yeah.
That you
I know my strength.
What kind
I'll
of
be one hell of a
cellmate?
cellmate.
I'm like-
The good one that reads the Bible or found Allah, you know, like.
He don't eat pork.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah, like that, hey, yo, blood, that ain't the life you want to live. You know, like, that's what I was
They're like, you don't want to be Thor. You're like, nah, I'm a cellmate.
Yeah, I'm
I
a
love
cellmate. Yeah, that's what I mean, I want to play positive hood role model.
I love that. I'm like, I don't know. Do you have one? If you had a role
He's
now?
gonna be a king somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah, that's him.
okay.
He won't be a king wearing a loincloth and like, all I survey.
I know I'm put me behind the camera.
He wants to bounce off a cliff. That's what
He's scarred. I want to be scarred. That's my shit.
Yeah, I would love to be a cartoon. I would love to be a voice actor too.
Oh, I love it. I feel like all of these, like, you can, that's the thing, is like you guys can do all these things now. It's
What's
just,
your end goal? What do you want to be?
I've always loved the acting thing. I think that I spend some time, if I'm not in front of the camera, I'm also behind the camera. I've gotten a chance to produce, do some writing. I love punching up stuff. I think the end goal would just be like, if I could make a great show, and I don't even think that I would have to be like in it or on screen. I think I might do like a Quentin Tarantino where it's like the bitchy receptionist or whatever.
You could really be the next Abbott Elementary. I can see
I
you
would-
being the creator of a show and
Yeah,
being the star of it. Yeah.
that's I don't know if I'd want to be the star. I don't know if you've probably done some if someone didn't show up doing both. I don't love the dance of doing both. In fact, like I usually, if there's not a role for me, I'm the best PA in the world, producer. I'll do location shit. I've done hair and makeup. I know how to jump in and do whatever I
Make
need to
something
do.
happen.
Yeah.
That's the part of it.
Yeah.
And one thing is, I think with the talent pool that we have in Raleigh, why the fuck we haven't made a movie to put Raleigh on the map?
I would love to.
Because like we have the writers, we have the comics, we have the act, we have everything we need right here in Raleigh. And we would all just put our own personal selfish ego aside.
And people have to show up though.
Yeah.
Because some people like to talk a big fucking game, and then it's like, bitch, you need to be here at 8 a.m.
And then they show up at 10:30 like,
Yeah.
why you ain't letting me know, man?
Bitch, I told you, you got the call sheet like everybody else got the call sheet. Is that your email address? Okay.
So as an actress and director and producer and everything.
Never been a director. That shit's terrifying to me.
Well,
I
with all
can't.
the hats that you
Yeah.
that you wore, do you think Angela Bassett got snubbed for the Oscars?
I do.
Did you see Jamie Lee Curtis?
I didn't. And so that's where I'm like, I need to see it. But from my understanding, they kept being like, but Jamie Lee Curtis's body of work, like, you got no argument because Angela Bassett's body of work.
Yeah, way better.
they were saying a lot of people, and I'm gonna watch in Drama and Conclusion, but they were like, basically Jamie Lee Curtis had like a cameo, I guess. But when I heard people talking about Angela Bassett's, like, you know, like she, they were like, she fucking carried that shit on her back type shit. And I'm like, oh, like, and so there was so much, I hate how the media builds his shit up, because there are people who watch the Oscars because they were like, Angela Bassett's about to get this Oscar. And
she won Golden Globe already.
Yeah,
She's won all three, everything up until the Oscars she's won.
I wanted her to win it.
I wanted her to win, but comparing her role in Black Panther 2 versus just comparing the roles that they were nominated for, Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween Ends and Angela Bassett in Black Panther 2.
She didn't get it for Halloween Ends.
What did she get nominated for?
She got it for everything,
Everywhere.
once, right? I was like, hey, no.
Oh, she definitely got it.
I was like, it's not.
Was it Best Supporting Actress?
Yes.
Okay, because it could have been Best Actress.
Yeah, no.
All right.
No. But if they were trying to make, I don't know, I just feel like if they were trying to make it like this moment, there was also the chick who was also in the movie with her. The Asian, so, I don't know, and just like the whole nepotism fucking thing, it just like, it fucking irked me, but I was like, at the end of the day, if it's all entertainment, it's like the same shit with the news. They're going to go with the best story, and I know somebody wanted to get Angela Bassett's reaction to, it just,
Well, the thing is,
it's discouraging.
I'm gonna talk about it. Angela Bassett got snubbed for What's Love Got to Do with It.
She did!
That's the first snub. That's the real snub. Like, after that, I mean, everything else is just this. But the funny thing is, this is just about me. I don't watch the Oscars. I talk about the Oscars when I hear about what happened. But I didn't see Will Smith slap Chris Rock in the Oscars. I ain't watching that.
Where were you? Like, I did. I was like, what is happening?
Well, it's because for me, number one, the Oscars never seemed like much of an achievement to me.
Okay.
To me, a real achievement would be like an NAACP image award. Like, to me, the crowning jewel that you can have is like a BET award. Because you're
I want all
accepted in your community. Yeah. That like for example, for me, if I can win anything, let me get an NAACP image award. I don't give a shit about the Oscars. I don't give a shit about the Grammy, Golden Globe, none of that. I want to be appreciated by my people.
Okay.
Because outside of that, because to get the appreciation of your people, especially now that I'm seeing now, it's extremely hard.
Yeah.
It will be easier for me to gain the appreciation of people like that host the Academy Awards than it will be to get the appreciation of people that do BET.
Okay.
But the crowning thing is just the fact that if I did something so great that my people say, oh, we thought that was great, that's all I need. But like the Academy Award and all the white people shit, just never really appealed to me, because it just always seemed like to appreciate an Oscar more than the NAACP Image Awards, the prime example of self-hate.
Okay.
Like black isn't good enough. You have to go to the white side to get the awards and the Grammys, and you need the white awards, you need the white recognition. But the black, like when when Beyonce blew off the BET Awards and go to the Grammys, or when Jay-Z blows off the BET Awards and go there, that pisses me off. Like, you ever see the BET Awards and the NAACP Image Award? Ain't no great black megastars ever present. You don't see the Courtney B. Vances, you don't see the Angela Bassett. You'll see China Doll, or you'll see Kodak Black, or Damson Idris. You won't see Idris Elba there. You know what I'm saying? You'll see Anthony Mackie there.
I like Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, he's cool now, but now that he's Falcon, now that he's Winter Soldier, he probably ain't gonna show up no more either.
So, will you tell us, like, who we should be, who's not there at the next BET Awards? Is like, damn, they really, what are they doing now with their career?
I remember when they gave Justin Bieber a BET Award, he wasn't there. I was like, y'all dumb ass niggas. What the fuck are y'all thinking?
Okay.
Like, y'all know we're gonna give the best new hip hop artist to a white boy. Okay, I get it. Justin Bieber was banging that year. I give you that. But the nigga wasn't even showing up, and Chris Brown was sitting right there. Give Chris Brown the award. He was there. I would have looked at that paper like, Chris Brown. Don't give nobody no award. They don't show to the awards.
That's fair. That's fair. I want a SAG award. I feel like that's one of those where.
Oh, you won one?
No, I want one.
Oh
My God, you guys, like. I would still be here, but I would have mentioned it way before. I don't know when I came through the door, like, did you
definitely
see?
sound like you said I wanted something.
I want one, and
You'll get one.
I think so. I think so, and you guys would keep this or whatever, and like let it resurface. But like I do, I always love when the actors talk about their struggle because that's what they don't show. Even in comedy, they don't show all the open mics. They don't show you driving an hour and a half to go do 7 fucking minutes in the middle of nowhere and you're scared.
I live in Goldsboro. I used to drive all the way up here from Goldsboro. Monday through Friday. I remember one time, I don't know if you remember this, Brandy. I remember one time, I don't know what happened, but I was broke as hell. Like, I was broke as shit. And I think I had like a lot of envelopes, like, cause I never get my money.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember like I had got up here on fumes. And I was like, I just gotta get with Brandy, she give me my envelope. I was like, hey, Brandy. And you was so busy that day. You was running around. I ended up studying. I did, before it was like a 10 o'clock show. I was there like 1 o'clock, like, hey, Brandy. And Brandy was like, you still here? Fine. And she went, she went like, and she was like, let me see what I can find for you. And then she grabbed like this big ass like, here, alright. I think I had asked her like 8 times that, like, hey, I'll give it for you, alright.
Oh my God.
And I was like, and I would have hated to, I did not want to.
Yes,
But
get your money though.
I'm talking about, I did not have a way home.
Yes, I'm glad you got your money. I like
It
to
was
know
so
where the story
funny.
was going. I was like, I would hate if you were like, and I slept in the parking lot because.
No, you gave my envelope, but boy, you was fed up with me asking. I was like, she's not gonna book me ever again.
Yeah, I'm like, God damn, I'm like, I just need this to be over. I was like, it's the show done at the top. Some lady cussed me out, some bitch spit in my face. Like, you can't fight none of these bitches. Okay, you gotta keep your job.
Yeah, like, I was all like, and the thing was, I didn't want to ask her. She was like, you could see. You ever see somebody from a distance just going through bullshit after bullshit?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here like double just like, maybe I can ask her now.
You got
Hey,
plenty
Brandy,
of time.
get the fuck out of my face. All right, I'm getting water. When I had to drink water because I didn't want to run up the tab just in case I ain't had no water.
Hilarious.
That was fun, but but that's comedy. That's part of comedy. Like, and I just remember that night. And the funny thing was, this shorty girl was like, she was like, maybe in the hotel, I didn't want to show up in no hotel with no money.
Hilarious. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't fucking do it.
I didn't. Cause like I think she gave me like 8 envelopes. All of them had like at least $5 in it.
Good.
So I was straight.
Good. It had to be at least 10. I'm like,
Yeah,
we're getting
yeah.
$2 a minute.
I framed my first $5 like I won. I mean, made it good night, and then I had hard times to spend it.
Sorry, sometimes you have to
Well,
do that.
I framed the shit out that $5 bill. I was like, ooh!
Sometimes
I'm
you
a
have to do
comic.
that. Did you frame your first check? Did you frame your check?
I still have my checks, but I haven't framed it yet.
Okay.
But I can frame it. I deposit mine on my phone now.
Yeah.
I just keep those for my taxes. Like now I gotta claim taxes. But the best thing about comedy is how much money it gets you back on my taxes.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make you shit. Like right now, we're not making money in comedy. So, like the way that there's a tax loophole that comedy is technically a business. So all the money that you spend on comedy is a business expense.
Go ahead and get an LLC. Get an LLC and go ahead and run all your comedy expenses and shit through that.
Yeah, I've been doing the Schedule C the past couple of years because I ain't had no money.
I do it for my acting career, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm able to take down my gross, my taxable income. Boy, my GDP or whatever that thing is. Man, after they take that comedy shit out, like, yeah, we owe you. I'm like, oh, I paid taxes. I paid taxes so many times. At, like April 14th, April 15th, fuck that day.
Yeah, it's
like,
coming up.
That was the day I had to spend some money. Like, I'm talking about, like, it'd be like $1,800. I'm like, why I gotta pay? Y'all took taxes out of my check every month for a whole year. And then at the end of it, I still gotta give y'all $1,800.
You got your taxes, boy.
And that's how it was from like 23 to like I started doing comedy. The year I did comedy first time, I was dating a girl. She told me how to do my taxes and throw in my comedy expenses. Which because I'm a dummy, I saved all my receipts. Like so, I mean, I was the drink out buy good nights.
Yeah, sure, fuck it. Until someone tells you can't do that. Like, yeah, I was a business meeting and I had a soda.
The writer's block?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get them chicken tenders.
Yeah, write that off.
Oh yeah, in the restaurant. Oh man, I mean the food. I miss some shrimp. Y'all had some spicy shrimp, boy. Them shits was banging. But anyway, we gotta get up out
Yeah,
of here.
I know. I'm like you guys. I chat. I'm a chatter.
Yeah, me too. Oh snap! Yeah, cause I only put $1 in the.
I didn't even pay. I hope that we're not.
Look, you don't understand. If you park up here on the road, I had to park in the parking garage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was too afraid to walk by myself.
Oh, it's fine.
I know. But I didn't know, and I was like, oh shit, I think I'm here. But yeah.
Be so pissed
You
off.
see me
There
running?
she go.
You see me running, and you're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I parked to the parking deck.
Like, is she living?
Yes, I felt like I heard something.
I'm gonna jump in real quick. Last words.
Peace.
Bye.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of The Slice at Benny's Capitales, 121 Fayetteville Street. Tune in next week. We'll be back. Salute.
Salute.
The way it going down, the pride hugging. Yeah, Manolo, Mr. Doe, Flo Frazier, out. I spit it in, look at the just no rhyming. Quick to say P, don't worry, it's all timing. I slid in like a nigga that didn't pay, backdoor style. Shut the club down with a K. You know NC at it again, aiming at your cabbage again. I flow with a magical blend. Step up, get dropped to a tragical end. You know the kush got my lungs about as black as my skin. From Raleigh, NC down to